Why size questions matter more than you think. Let's be honest, for many men, this question has been sitting in the back of their minds for years. Am I normal? It might not be something you talk about with friends or even with your doctor, but it's a thought that comes up from time to time. And it's not just about curiosity. For many men, size concerns can quietly affect confidence, relationships, and even how they see themselves as they get older. Here's the thing. As a urologist, I've learned that the size conversation is almost never just about the numbers. It's about reassurance, about health, and about clearing up a lot of myths that have been floating around for decades. Some of these myths can cause unnecessary stress, and stress, as you know, isn't just in your head. It can also affect your hormones, your blood pressure, and your performance in general. So why do so many men, especially as they get older, think more about size? Part of it is natural changes in the body. Testosterone, the main male hormone, gradually declines with age. This can lead to changes in muscle mass, fat distribution, and even how you perceive your own body as they get older. Combine that with decades of comparison, often based on unrealistic images, and you get a situation where many men underestimate themselves. The other part? We live in a measurement-driven world. We measure height, weight, blood pressure, and cholesterol. So it's no surprise that some guys feel the urge to measure this too. But unlike those other numbers, penis size tends to carry a heavier emotional load. Here's what I want you to remember as we go forward. Size is far less important than function and health. If your blood is flowing well, if your hormones are balanced, and if you're pain-free, you are already ahead of the game. But before we talk about maintaining that, we need to look at the facts, what studies actually say about what's normal. And I'll tell you now, the numbers might surprise you. Now that we've cleared the air about why men think about size, let's look at the actual science, the kind of information you can trust, not what you see online or hear in the locker room. Over the years, researchers have collected thousands of measurements from men around the world. And here's the big takeaway. There's a wide range of what's normal. You'd be surprised how much natural variation there is, even among healthy men. Most reputable studies show that the average flaccid penis length is about 3.6 inches, around 9 centimeters, and the average erect length is about 5.1 inches, around 13 centimeters. When it comes to girth, which is the measurement around the shaft, the average is about 3.7 inches, 9.3 centimeters when soft, and 4.5 inches, 11.6 centimeters when hard. Now here's something important to keep in mind. These are averages, not targets. Just like height, shoe size, or blood pressure, some men will naturally be above or below those numbers, and it's completely fine. Function matters far more than falling exactly on the average. It's also worth noting that age can slightly affect these numbers, not because the tissue physically shrinks in a drastic way, but because of changes in circulation, elasticity, and muscle tone. If blood flow isn't as strong, erections might not be as firm, which can make measurements look different. But with proper health habits, and we'll talk about those later, you can maintain good function for many years. And another thing I want to point out is that girth often plays a bigger role in satisfaction and sensation than length, yet it's rarely discussed. A healthy blood supply, good tissue elasticity, and balanced testosterone all help maintain both length and girth. So, the next time you find yourself comparing, remember, the research tells us that the range is broad, the averages aren't extreme, and nature designed you for function, not competition. In the next part, we'll talk about how to measure yourself correctly, and trust me, most men do it wrong, which can lead to unnecessary worry. Part 3. The right way to measure for accuracy. If you're going to measure, you might as well do it the right way, because guess what? Most men don't. And when you measure incorrectly, you can end up thinking you're smaller than you actually are, which only fuels unnecessary worry. Let's start with length. you'll want to measure from the pubic bone, not the skin at the base. To do this properly, press the ruler or measuring tape gently into the pubic bone, right at the top side where the shaft begins. This accounts for any fat pad in the area, which can vary from man to man, especially as we age. Measure along the top side, from the pubic bone to the very tip of the head. That's your true length, both in a flaccid state and when fully erect. For girth, you'll need a flexible measuring tape, the kind used for sewing. Wrap it gently around the middle of the shaft, not too tight, and note the measurement. This gives you the circumference, which is what doctors refer to as girth. You can also measure at the base and near the head for comparison, but the mid-shaft reading is the most standard. A couple of important points. Always measure in a warm, relaxed environment. Cold temperatures or stress can make your results temporarily smaller. If you're tracking changes over time, for example, after improving your exercise routine or addressing a health issue, measure at the same time of day under similar conditions for consistency. Don't obsess over small differences. A few millimeters here or there can happen just from normal daily changes in circulation. One thing I've noticed over the years is that many men measure when they're anxious, and anxiety itself reduces blood flow. That means you're literally measuring yourself in your least accurate state. By knowing how to measure correctly, you can get a true baseline and avoid the false alarms that come from poor technique. In the next section, we'll talk about why the numbers themselves don't tell the full story, and how factors like blood flow, hormones, and overall health matter even more. Here's the truth. Measurements are just one piece of the puzzle. They're like reading the numbers on your bathroom scale without knowing your muscle mass, bone density, or overall fitness. Yes, length and girth are measurable, but what really matters for a man's sexual health is function. Function comes down to three main factors: circulation, hormones, and nerve health. First, circulation. The penis is like a hydraulic system. It relies entirely on blood flow. If your arteries are clear, your heart is strong, and your blood vessels are healthy, you'll get fuller, firmer erections. That's why conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol can affect performance. They all impact the same blood vessels that supply the heart, brain, and yes, down there. Second, hormones, especially testosterone. This hormone is a key driver for sexual desire, energy, and tissue health. Low testosterone over time can lead to reduced firmness and even subtle changes in size because the tissues aren't being stimulated as often. Testosterone also helps maintain muscle tone around the pelvic area, which indirectly supports better erections. Third, nerve health. The penis has a dense network of nerves that send signals to and from the brain. If those nerves aren't working properly, due to things like long-term diabetes, spinal issues, or even certain surgeries, function can be affected regardless of size. Here's something most men don't realize. A healthy man with average size will almost always perform better than an unhealthy man with above-average size. That's because good blood flow, optimal hormone levels, and sharp nerve signals make a much bigger difference in the real world than an extra half-inch on a ruler. So while it's fine to know your measurements, don't get trapped into thinking that's the whole picture. What you should be focusing on is keeping your body in a state where blood flow is strong, hormones are balanced, and nerves are responsive. That's the foundation of real sexual health. In our final section, I'll give you practical tips to maintain not just your size, but also your strength, confidence, and performance over the years. And I'll share one surprising habit that makes a bigger difference than most men realize. Part 5. How to keep size, strength, and health in check. We've talked about the numbers, the science, and why function matters more than just measurements. Now let's talk about what you can actually do to keep things working well. And yes, this applies whether you're 40, 60, or even 80. First, keep the blood flowing. This means staying active every single day. Walking, light strength training, cycling, or swimming all improve circulation. The penis depends on healthy arteries, so the same exercises that protect your heart also protect your performance. Even 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking most days can make a noticeable difference over time. Second, manage your weight and belly fat. Excess fat around the midsection not only hides some of the shaft, making it appear shorter, but it also messes with hormone balance by converting testosterone into estrogen. That's why losing even a few inches off your waist can sometimes make a visible difference, and more importantly, it boosts your energy and function. Third, support your hormones naturally. Sleep at least 7 to 8 hours, avoid excessive alcohol, and eat a balanced diet rich in lean protein, healthy fats, and vegetables. Zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds and lean beef can help, as zinc plays a role in testosterone production. Remember, a healthy hormone balance is like keeping your engine tuned. It keeps everything running smoothly. Fourth, protect your nerve health. This means keeping blood sugar under control, avoiding smoking, and limiting anything that damages nerve pathways. If you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, getting it under control is one of the best things you can do for your sexual health. And finally, here's that surprising habit I mentioned. Regular, healthy sexual activity or stimulation helps maintain tissue elasticity and blood flow. The body works on a use it or lose it principle when it comes to blood vessels and muscle tone, and yes, that includes the pelvic region. So here's the bottom line. You don't need to chase unrealistic numbers. Instead, focus on circulation, hormones, nerve health, and overall fitness. These are the real keys to keeping your size, strength, and confidence intact for years to come. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more men's health tips, and share it with a friend who might need the reassurance. Remember, good health is the best measure of all.